That's fine. Okay, get yourself sat down onto your cushion, onto your left, and then come into a good cross leg position. Let's have a little wriggle about. Just make sure that you're sitting evenly, that there's levelness underneath the seat bones. Hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area upwards, lifting the heart area and drawing the shoulders down away from your ears. Just spend a few moments listening to the breath. Just focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Just look down at the floor, look at something that isn't moving, so that your eyes become still in the sockets. And then release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste, lengthen from the armpits into the elbows into the heels of the hands into the fingertips. Take a deep inhalation, and with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Just focus on levelness of the seat bones, adjusting if necessary, staying on the front edge of the seat bones. Just filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Draw your chin forwards and down to meet the chest. Just feel the stretch of the back of the neck as you bring the chin to the chest in Jalandhara Bandha. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Just hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area, and then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Connecting the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just take a deep inhalation, and then with the following exhalation, turn to the right side. Just observing your body's response to the pose this morning. Observing resistance and freedom. So maybe that's not in the same part of the body, but in parts of the body there will be some resistance. In parts of the body there will be freedom. So try and draw your attention, spread your attention evenly, so that you don't just focus on the resistance. Maybe some of that resistance is mental. So acknowledge it, but just feel the aliveness of the action of the pose. Bringing you into the day. Come back to the center. Hold on to the knees, lift up into the heart area, drawing the shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation. And with the following exhalation, turn to the left. Again, being really cognizant of the body's response to the pose. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Draw your shoulders away from your ears so that you can lengthen your neck. Just allow the sensations of the pose to bring the body into the present moment, to wake up the mind. And then come back to the center. Just spend a few moments just holding onto your knees, feeling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Just feeling the sensations of the breath. As you inhale, you feel that the chest raises upwards and outwards. As you exhale, the chest lowers and relaxes. So we're not controlling the breath, we're just observing the breath. We're taking deep breaths, but not controlling it. Just observe your body's ability to take in the air. Draw your chin with an exhalation down to the chest. Take a deep in-breath, and with an exhalation, raise your chin to the ceiling. If that doesn't work for you, just bring your head back, looking forwards. Take a deep inhalation and bring the chin back down to meet the chest. Take an inhalation, and with the following exhalation, raise the chin back to the ceiling, or just bring the chin parallel to the floor. And then bring the head back level. Take a deep inhalation, and then just bring your right ear over to the right shoulder, but keeping the shoulders down away from your ears. Just feeling that intense stretch on the left side. Take a deep inhalation, and with an exhalation come back to the centre and over to the left. Just feeling that stretch on the right side of the neck. Take an in-breath, and then with the out-breath come back to the centre and then back over to the right. Take a deep breath and then come back to the centre and over to the left. Just feeling that you're stretching out the neck. Deep in breath and then come back to the center. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Take a deep inhalation and then bring the chin across to the right side. So when we turn, we tend to try and keep the chin level with the chest, not turning the neck. When we do it individually, as long as you don't overdo it, it's a good thing just to wake up the neck. Take a deep inhalation and then with the following exhalation, just bring the chin over to the left side. Keeping the shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation with the following exhalation, just go back over to the right side. And then a deep inhalation, and then with the exhalation over back to the left. And then come back to the center. And then come down onto your knees. If you're not doing forward bending, just come down onto your back into supta konasana. So, sitting back on your heels, lifting up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards, and then come forwards into adho mukha virasana, or supta konasana if you're not coming forwards. So just feel the spine stretching, adho mukha virasana, just feel the hips open in supta konasana. In both poses, breathe from the bottom of the lungs to the top of the lungs. Spread the fingers, spread the palms, and hit the seat bones down towards the heels. Just feel that you can stretch the tailbone region down towards the heels and lengthen into the arms. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, stay in supta konasana, or you can come up into dandasana if you're not doing inverted poses. Otherwise, come up into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, then you can either stay in supta konasana or come into dandasana. Lifting the seat bones up towards the ceiling, pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Andrew, I wouldn't stay with your legs up in the air for too long, so dandasana would be better than an inversion. So sitting up, stretching your legs away. If you're in dog down, just feel your body adjusting into the pose. Let your head hang down, but really deeply activating the legs in dandasana and tadasana and adho mukha svanasana, Press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Activate the kneecaps really firmly, pushing the knees, the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. pushing the fronts of the shins into the calf muscle, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, fronts of the shins inwards, and just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then if you're in dog down, step your feet forwards and come up into a standing position. If you're in dandasana, just come up into standing. Have a couple of blocks for your hands. Andrew used to be fine in Adho Mukha in half-uttanasana. Just have the blocks for your hands. Have the feet as wide apart as your mat, with the edge of the feet lining up with the edge of the mat, so that your big toes, if you look down, your big toes are considerably closer together than your heels. So if your hands on your hips, lift up into the chest, tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Lift up into the heart area, winging the elbows towards each other, keeping the head lifted, and then hinge at the hips, come forwards, keeping the head lifted, keeping the legs straight, and then reach down, find the blocks underneath your shoulders to adjust the position if you need to. So be on fingertips on the blocks and activate your legs. Just observe, how is that activation even, or isn't it? So feel that you can lift the kneecaps, press the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, project the chin and the chest forwards. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If you can go down lower, then do. Projecting the chin and the chest forwards, just allowing the body to wake up. So these are really good poses for the first thing in the morning, just these limbering poses. Bring your attention into the physical body. Just listen to the breath. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. If you can reach down to the floor, and do, if you've got a bad back, then it's better to stay higher. Project the chin and the chest away from the legs. Hit the legs away from the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Hitting your weight back into your heels. If you remember last week, we were working on activating the toes. So can you press the toes into the floor? If you're not sure, then swing your weight forwards so that your heels become really light and all of your weight goes into your toes. All of your weight goes into your hands. So feel how the toes start to really connect to the floor. And then again, hit the legs back so that the heels come down, but keep the toes activated as they were. Hit your shins back until your weight goes into your heels, but keep the toes activated. Okay, bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into a standing position. Just come into Tadasana. Just observing your energy. Just listen to the breath. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Just focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump your feet nice and wide. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out, spread in the toes, press in the toes into the floor, come over into the right side, trikonasana. Just feel where your pose is this morning. Just feel where there is resistance, where there is freedom. Just have a quick look down as your head over your foot. If it's not, lift the chest a little more. Press the front leg buttock bone forwards a little. Keep that back leg hitting towards the wall behind you. Look up if you can. If looking up doesn't work for you, then you can look forwards or down. Breathe in and out through the nose if you can. Turn the abdomen up to face the ceiling, the chest up to face the ceiling. Reach up, come back to the centre, and then swap the feet around. Turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out, just making sure that you haven't kind of shortened the distance between the feet. And then turn in the front thigh from the big toe side to the little toe side, over to the left. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, activating the legs evenly. So it might feel different. Maybe that front leg is kind of easier to access the top of the thigh. You can really feel it lifting up into the hip socket. Whereas the back leg will feel different because of the position, but just try and activate the top of the thigh with evenness. And then come back to the centre. Bring your feet parallel, and then step or jump your feet back together. And then come back into Tadasana. Just breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Stretch your arms out in front, turn the palms all the way out, and then reach the arms behind you, stretching the arms away, and then bring the tips of the fingers together, and then walk tips of the fingers up as high towards the neck as you can. So at first, it's going to look a bit like this with just the fingertips together. So then you lengthen from the shoulders consciously into the elbows, and then wing the elbows to the wall behind you, and then draw the elbows in towards the heels of the hands. It might make you do this a little bit, so hit your shins back so that you feel that your weight goes into your heels. Tuck your tailbone in. Lift up into the chest, wing in the elbows to the wall behind you. Just observe how much you can breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, just opening the chest. Consciously filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And then gently release. Just bring your hands back down to the floor, lifting up into the chest. Just observe the feeling of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. So the first namaskarasana of the day often feels quite tight, doesn't it? So lengthen your arms away, turn the palms all the way out, and then again, lengthen the arms and then bring the tips of the fingers together. Walk the fingers up towards the neck, and you'll probably find the second time you can go up a little higher. And then lengthen the shoulders into the elbows into the heels of the hands, the elbows towards the back of the room. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then from there, step or jump your feet apart. And then turn your left toes in steeply, the right leg and foot all the way out. So pick up the back heel, turn that back heel, and then rotate that back leg from the front of the thigh. Turn the front of the thigh from the little toe side to the big toe side. Turning the front of the thigh inwards, so the back of the thigh broadens outwards. Lift up into the chest, and then come forwards. You can always let go of the hands and bring the hands onto the floor or onto blocks, but keep the chest lifted as you come forward. Keep the hands together as much as you can. So you can release if you need to. And then just release your hands, bring your hands to the floor, bend that front leg, and then step forward, and then come up into a standing position. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Listen to the sound of the breath. Excuse that rustling sound. Jeff has found some cubby hole that he's not found before, so he's having an explore. Lengthen into the arms, turn the palms all the way out, all the way around, bring the hands into Namaste. And then again, walk the hands up your back. Oh, I think he's caught, sorry, he's just caught on a wire. I'm going to pull the radio off the wall. Just bear with me, sorry, keep going. And then step the feet apart. And then turn the right toes in, really steeply. Rotate on the left foot, and then turn the whole of the chest to the left side of the room. Winging those elbows apart, bringing those elbows towards you, behind you. Just find that balance between the legs. And then gently come forwards, lifting in the chest, turning the fronts of the thighs, keeping the hips level, coming down, keeping that back leg dead straight, and then release the hands, bend that front leg, step in with the back leg, and then come up into Tadasana. Just find your Tadasana. Turn the fronts of the thigh, fronts of the arms, the palms even outwards. Rotating the upper arms in the sockets. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump your feet really wide, keeping your heels in line with the edge of the back edge of your mat if you can. Just have your hands on your hips. Now you can come forwards, hinging at the hips like this, and then bring your hands down. Or you can come into this pose with the hands in namaskarasana. So make that decision for yourself. So you can always release the hands if need be, but walk the hands up the back. So this is about the fifth time we've done it now. So maybe the hands move up the back more naturally. Keep the legs really straight, tighten the kneecaps. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Keep the head lifted as you come forwards, hinging at the hips. Now at this stage, you might just want to release your hands. If you're not doing any kind of inversion, then just release your hands, and then just stay at that halfway point. Otherwise, keep the back straight and then bring your head to the floor. To avoid inversions, if there's any reason why your head shouldn't go below your heart, just listen to the breath. Activating your legs, really tightening the kneecaps, lifting the thigh muscles up into the hip socket. Okay, release your arms, bring them down to the floor if they're in namaskarasana, and then walk your hands forwards. Just come into the halfway point, just lifting up into the chest. Try not to put too much weight in your hands. Keep the legs hitting back. Projecting the chin and the chest forwards. And then bring the palms down, bend your knees, and then step or jump your feet back together. And then come into padottanasana. Lift up into the chest. And then raise your arms up in hastasana. Arms parallel to each other ideally. Or you just work to keep your arms straight. So go wider with your arms if you can't straighten your arms. Or I've run out of ceiling height, so I have to go a little bit wider. Just find your balance in your feet. Activate those toes. Hit the shins back. Tighten the kneecaps, tuck the tailbone in, draw the abdomen to the spine. Lift the heart area to the ceiling. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And then release, come down onto your knees or go into, so we can go up into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, go back into supta, baddha. We're all going to go there in a moment anyway. Have your hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart for dog down. And then just come up into the pose. So whichever pose you're doing, just observe your energy. Observe how perhaps your tired body feels a little more alive, a little more energized. Keep working the legs deeply, pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, or letting the hips just go wide open in supta baddha. You can always support the hips if you need to with blocks in supta baddha. So in supta baddha, stretch your arms to the ceiling, interlock the fingers, And then stretch your arms along the floor. Again, using block or folded blanket underneath your hands to support your shoulders if need be. Okay, if you're in dog down, just come down onto your toes, onto your knees, and then just sit in virasana for a moment. If you're in supta baddha, just stay in supta baddha. Just feel how virasana, if you did dog down, refreshes the action of the legs. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, and then everyone come down into supta baddha. So come down onto your back and have the feet together and let the knees come apart. Again, you can support the thighs underneath. You can support the hips with blocks underneath your thighs like this if you need it. Just have the same on both sides. Just have your hands on your lower ribs. If your arms are outstretched already, then just relax your hands for a moment. Just letting the floor just ease out any tensions in your back. Stretch your arms to the ceiling, interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the hands and turn the palms all the way out in asana. And then with straight arms, if you can, lengthen your arms along the floor and bring the hands down directly onto the floor. If there's any problem with your shoulders, stiffness, then put blocks or a folded blanket underneath your hands. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Release your arms to the ceiling, swap the interlock of the fingers, bring the fingers right into the webbing of the hands and then turn the palms all the way out. And then again, just elongate the arms along the floor, keeping them straight, keeping the outer elbows hitting inwards. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then release your arms, just rest your hands on your lower ribs. Bring your knees together and then pull the feet in towards the seat bones. Pull the right knee in towards the chest. bring the right foot across the top of the left thigh. Just bringing it in towards bringing the heel in towards the inner pelvic bone if you can, or just bring the foot anywhere along the top of that thigh that you can reach. And then get hold of the back of the left knee and then pull that left knee in towards the chest, flexing that left heel. Just stretching out the glutes and the hamstrings of the right side. So supta kapotasana. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, enjoying the breath. And then gently release. Just bring that foot back down onto the floor. So uncrossing the foot, bring the left knee into the chest, bring the left foot across the top of the right thigh, and then get hold of the back of the right knee, and then flexing that right heel, pull the right knee in towards the chest, just stretching out the left side, keeping the tailbone down onto the floor if you can. Just stretching out the glutes and the hamstrings. And then just bring the foot to the floor and cross the left foot. And then just stretch yourself out along the floor. Just get hold of the sides of the mat, pull your knees in towards your chest, and then raise your legs up to the ceiling. If there's any reason why you're avoiding inversions, then go back into supta baddha. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just listening to the breath. Just feel how much you have brought energy into the body, how the body feels more alive because of the deep extension of the poses. Keep extending the legs to the ceiling. If you're in viparita karanhi, pulling the toes towards the kneecaps, tightening the kneecaps, activating the legs. Just feeling that the body is conscious, that the mind is in the body rather than elsewhere. It's following the sensations of the pose. Remember, if you struggle to keep the legs lifted, you guys put a block underneath the lower sacrum area, around the sacrum and tailbone region, just to give you a little more boost in the legs. Okay, bend your knees, just bring your feet back to the floor, and then come up onto your elbows. If you're in supta baddha, come out of supta baddha, just stretch your legs out. Just come up onto your elbows, make sure you're in a really good straight line right down the centre of the mat. Get a folded blanket and then place that underneath your head, make sure it feels level and even, and then just allow the body to release into the floor. Let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Just allowing the body to become heavy on the ground. And from that heaviness, observe a feeling of deep energetic lightness that radiates from the bones, permeating into the muscles and into the organs and the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes, into the legs and into the torso and the arms and the fingers, and all the way up into the top of the head. Filling the body with energetic lightness. Ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, just bring yourself back into this pose of Shavasana. And then bend your knees, bring your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then gently roll over onto your right side. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice. This morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then when you're ready, just release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Just feeling that positive energy around the heart area, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy, giving yourself good, positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.